chaotic, and it has changed my life. I'm a fan of his ever since. I love this collection. Thousands most legendary supermodels and more. The four queens of the runway. Fashion, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner. Librarian tonight, and that's because I came to read a bitch. Jaja's Atelier, bitch. Welcome back, guys, to a brand new episode of Jaja's Atelier. It's your girl, Lady in Red. I don't know what made me decide to wear all red today. I don't know. I saw this dress hanging in my closet. I haven't worn it in a while. You know, I live for a monochromatic look. And I told y'all I was going to experiment with color. And, you know, I'm finding that red really suits this chocolate alabaster. So why not? Anyway, how was everybody's weekends? If you haven't been following me on social media this past weekend, between all the shows from Milan and now Paris, we're in day 2 of Paris Fashion Week. I went to Richmond again to see my sister, and this time Adrian came with me. Huge shout out to them, my co-stars for the latest episode of Thrift Trip. We went back to Diversity Thrift, and we had a great time. Between the three of us, it's almost 20 years of friendship. And we had a blast. My sister put her foot in that beef stir fry and that motherfucking ziti. This is the 3rd or 4th pan that she's made for me, by the way. I think the next time, instead of passing me a pan, she's going to be passing me a piece of paper for me to make it my motherfucking self. But yeah, so that's what I did this weekend. I found some really cool pieces. So listen, we are in the middle. Well, not in the middle, but we are on day 2 of Paris Fashion Week, like I said. But you know, we got to recap Milan. But we have to get into the hot topics and the fashion news and the politics first. You know how this goes. Come on. Y'all have been with me long enough now. So listen, before we get into all of that, I have a personal story for you guys. You know, I'm not newly single, but I feel like I'm newly single because I haven't really dated. You know, as a trans woman, dating now is really, really difficult. A lot of these men aren't comfortable with who they are, so they want me to go back in the closet, and I can't put these away. It ain't no hiding these anymore, okay? And the more I date and the more, you know, the more awareness that Black trans women are getting and the more accepting of it that the world is becoming, the more these men are really like divulging their deepest, darkest fantasies. And I'm just like, so I'm on a dating app. For safety purposes, I'm not going to call out the name of the dating app because you're really not supposed to screenshot on there, but I did anyway. So I'm on this dating app. It's for queer people, specifically trans people. And so I'm on here, and you know, this guy starts off with a really sweet message. He's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." I'm like, "Thanks, you too." He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing much. What about you?" This fool texts me back and says, "I want to sit in your lap." Now listen, I know it's 2024 and we got to get with the times and everybody has their preferences and everybody, you know, wants to feel accepted and we have to be open sexually and all of this and all of that. But it's just some shit that I'm not down for, okay? I didn't do all of this for you to come and sit on me like a seesaw. It's not going to happen. It's not that type of party over here, Papa. Like what? And I'm not going to show his picture because I'm not messy because that's his preference. That's what he wants to do. It's just not going to happen over here. Dee doesn't respond to that. Okay? And if you don't know who Dee is, check my Instagram stories in the memories category. You know, I'm a girl with titties at the top and Dee at the bottom. But she doesn't respond to that. Like I was like, you can see it, and I'm like, now what now? Now, let me show you how bold these men are getting. You heard me. LOL. I still have not responded. This was 3 days ago. It's like, wow. Let your freak flag fly, honey. I'm sure you're going to find a girl like me, who is willing to let you sit in her lap like Santa Claus. Honey, I might have one all red, but it ain't ho-ho-hoing over here. You can't, can I sit in your lap? Are you crazy? Ugh. Anyway, I'll save the rest of that for live. So let's get into today's show. Before we get into today's show, actually, I just came across some very, very exciting news about the historical, legendary Howard University. Howard University has just elected, hold on, let me pull it up, has just elected its first transgender student body president in Jay Jones. I saw this on Gay Magazine's social media. They did a whole interview with her. I think this is beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I'm praying for her safety because you do know there are still crazy people out there, especially within our community. And when I say our community, I mean the Black community. Not everybody is on board with these types of things, but I'm glad to see such a prestigious Black university, pushing the narrative out, pushing the negative narrative out the way, and giving this young woman this opportunity and the students that voted for her. It really speaks volumes. I have been really, I don't hold my tongue when it comes to trans and homophobia within our community, but I am starting to see a shift, even like where I work, like, the guys that work alongside me at my job, they weren't always the nicest. I've had some run-ins with a few of them, but a lot of them have came around. And I think a part of the problem is a lot of us in the Black community, we've never had the opportunity to interact with a trans person, whether it be a trans woman or a trans man. So I think this is fabulous. Huge shout out to Jay Jones. Congratulations. You are inspiring. This is huge. And, shout out to the students on campus who are like, we like you for you. We don't care about your gender. We don't care about that. We want you for you. This is huge. So huge congratulations to her and huge shout out to Hampton University. So yeah, I definitely had to touch on that before we got into things. So listen, Jean-Paul Gaultier, iconic French designer, has retired. I think it's been 4 or 5 years now since he stepped back. But instead of having one creative director, he has been switching them out every year. And I love this idea. We have talked about this on the show before. I really think a lot of these more prestigious houses need to follow suit with this, because you're waiting for what this person's going to bring. You just don't know what's going to come because it's a different person every fucking year, So this time, Jean-Paul Gaultier has announced French designer Ludwig de Saint-Cernin as the next guest designer. I'm really excited about this. Now, I learned about Ludwig. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get my shit together here. I learned about Ludwig, I think it was in 2019. He's very young. We're the same age, actually. I think he's about to be 34. He's born in France. He's worked for Balmain. He's worked for Dior. He started his own brand in 2017. And he's also carved a new lane in fashion, becoming one of the first designers to have luxury men's underwear line. If you see some of the pictures here, and I'm also a huge fan of his work. The corsetry, the way he works with leather. I've seen Kim Kardashian in some of his looks. I've seen Dua Lipa in some of his looks. I love this right here. This trench dress with the open with the open chest. He's also all about individuality and gender fluidness. So I'm really excited to see this. And if you look at this, this reminds me a little bit of Jean-Paul Gaultier back in the days, especially Madonna's blend, the collection that featured the cone bra with Madonna, that whole blonde ambition era, which we're gonna talk about that in a minute. I've been three of y'all sent me this story about Dolce and Gabbana and them kind of ripping off Jean-Paul Gaultier, but we're gonna talk about that in a minute. So hold tight, hold tight. So yeah, I'm really excited. Huge congratulations to him. I can't wait. This is gonna be a collection for the books. This is definitely going to be a collection for the books. I feel it in my bones. So huge congratulations to Ludwig on that. All right, so listen. Let's talk about it. Everybody's mad at Janet Jackson. Everybody's mad at Janet. So in a recent interview with the Guardian, you know, I read the whole thing, and they talked about a plethora of things. But the subject of politics came up, and Janet put her foot in her mouth. She said that she had heard that Kamala Harris was not black, that they had found out that her father was white. Janet, I don't know where you get your news from, honey. But she did also say in the interview that she hadn't watched the news in a couple of days. But honey, this whole what is she? Is she black? Is she not? Has been going on for months. I will say this. Janet Jackson, first of all, for all you people talking about cancel Janet Jackson, well, let me start with this. What I will say that I do know about Janet Jackson, because I've been a Janet Jackson fan since the day I popped out my mama's coochie, that she makes her music and she goes away. She makes her music and she goes away. You guys have to remember that Janet is an artist from a particular era. Janet is an artist from an era where they didn't really talk politics like that. They would express it through their music, much like her brother Michael. Although sometimes they would sometimes say something, but most of the time they would express their opinions about politics and world issues in their music. And on top of that, Janet isn't much of a talker, in my personal opinion. What really disappointed me about this whole thing was how quick we are in the black community to write off black women. But I didn't see this same energy for Judge Joe Brown. I never see this same energy for 50 Cent with all the nasty things and trolling that he does on social media. I never see this same energy for Waka Flocka Flame. And you know, some of these people aren't as famous, well, none of these people are as famous as Janet. But, I mean, listen, well, aside from 50 Cent, but why is it always black women that have to, they're always the ones, well, we're always the ones that have to bob and weave and we have to watch what we say and we always have to be cute and demure. And listen, cut the lady some slack. Janet is not, she comes out, she does her Vegas residency, she does her tours, she gives you a little tidbit about her life and her child, and she goes on about her business. And why don't we ever see this same pressure for the men? And D.L. Hughley, I think you're disgusting for what you said. Janet Jackson is one of the least problematic celebrities in celebritydom. This lisp, honey. I'm telling y'all, when I get this money and I get these teeth fixed, oh honey, it's a wrap. I'm gonna clear you girls. Anyway, well, I'm clearing a lot of you now, but no shade, just truth. Yeah, I thought he said something about I need Janet to go breathe out of her original nose or something. Like, D.L. Hughley, you are such a prick. Ugh. Leave Janet alone. Anyway, on to the next story. So, listen. I came across this and I found it really, really interesting. If I can find it. Hold on, guys. Okay, so I found this. So I found this reel. It was like an opinion reel by brand influencer and digital creator Eni Papola. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And it made me take a look at some things. Hold on, I'm gonna have to pull it up on Instagram because I'm not finding it on here. Give me just a second. Just a second. Give me a minute here. Give me a minute here. Oh, the first thing I see is something about P. Diddy. Are we going to stop talking about P. Diddy already? I mean, come on. Really? Give me a fucking break. It's getting old. It's really getting old. Anyway. Yeah, but I found this, and I found it really interesting, and it immediately made me want to go to the comments. It was basically her talking about she went on a trip, and the girl that she went on the trip on, her boyfriend sent both of them flowers. But I'm gonna let you guys listen to it and take a look before we get into it.
Hello, beautiful people. This is your reminder, and honestly, my reminder to never settle. I'm on a trip with my friend. I'm on a brand trip, and my friend is here with me. And yesterday was National Girlfriend Day, so her boyfriend was gonna send her some flowers. And tell me why he was like, I can't send my girlfriend flowers without sending her friend flowers who's with her. So I wake up from my nap, and my friend's like, Annie, there's a surprise for you. Why do I have flowers? Why are there flowers? And the flowers are just like, congratulations for the brand trip, like whatever, which is honestly like appropriate because this is my first international brand trip. So I just got flowers because I'm friends with a girl who has a boyfriend who believes in giving her friends flowers too. So yeah, whoever you're talking to, it's probably time to drop them and start from scratch because that's how I'm feeling right now too.
So what do you guys think? I immediately in my head, I was like, that's kind of inappropriate. But when I went to the comments, well, before I went to the comments, I thought it was a little inappropriate. And then I was like, thinking back to my childhood and how my mom and dad interacted with their friends of the opposite sex. And when I really thought about it, I was like, wow, the 2010s and the 2020s have really fucked us up mentally when we talk about being friends with the opposite sex. But what I liked most when I looked at the comments was how many women said that they've had those same kind of interactions with their girlfriend's significant other. It was even one girl that was like, we got off. He drove us to the airport, picked us back up, had flowers for everybody, took us out to lunch, and we were all talking. I was really pleasantly surprised by that because immediately I thought all the girls was going to be like, not my man. But we did have some of those in the comments that were like, not my man, And it just really shows, like, if you feel that way about your man or you feel that way about your homegirl, then he probably ain't going to be your man for too long, and you and your homegirl are definitely going to have a falling out. It's just kind of like we become, I think as a society, we become so overly sexualized that we can't even contemplate being friends with the opposite sex. That's really sad. I think we need to shift the narrative a little bit and work on that. Because there was a lot of girls in this saying that it wouldn't be their man. And I'm like, but why not? Don't you want everybody to get along? Like, I have a guy friend, and me and his wife get along great. Like, it's not an issue. Like, it's like, oh, I see you doing your thing. Congratulations. Liking my posts and stuff, watching my stories. And it's not a big deal. It's like, hey, girl, Especially between the cisgender women and the cisgender men. Yeah, y'all really need to work that out. But yeah, this is a really cute. I just wanted to touch on it because it really made me think. Anyway, if you have any thoughts, leave it in the comments. What would you do if your man sent your friend flowers and you knew about it? Would you be comfortable with that? See, these are the kind of conversations where I want to be live so we can be interactive and talk about it, but hopefully soon. But anyway, on to the next story. So I'm going to touch on this really, 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 really quick because I don't have a lot of time. So Victoria Monet, superstar singer, and her longtime boyfriend John Gaines announced, is it John or James? Yeah, John Gaines announced that they have parted ways. I don't know how long they've been together. I think they've been together for a long time, though. I think it's been over 5 years. They welcomed a baby girl back in February 2001. The little girl's name is Hazel. But you know what made me mad? It was the comments. Oh, it's because he's gay. It's because he's gay. Y'all have got to stop doing this to these black men. You are stifling these men when you do that shit. And if that's been her man for all this time and they've got kids together and he is gay, don't you think she knows? Is that the only reason that a woman can break up with a man? Is because she found out that he's gay? Listen, y'all need to come bring it into 2024. There are a lot of, again, black women who are sexually adventurous and don't mind hiding it. And I mean, don't mind being open with it. I know I'm friends with a girl right now who has told me things that her and her man do, and I was like, wow. Like, not in a judgmental way, but you don't hear, especially not black women, talking this way about their significant other who is a man. There's a lot of black women who are in relationships with 2 different men and they all get it on together. Like, y'all need to stop. They've been together for a long time. Her star is on the rise. Maybe they just grew apart. I am sad to see them break up. I do have to say that when I did see them together, they do look a lot alike. They're like brother and sister when you look at them. But they're a beautiful couple, and I wish them both the best. And I'm praying for the both of you. I'm sad to see them break up because I really, really liked them as a couple. I remember watching them on the Grammys red carpet, and just the way he knew how to be the background to her foreground, and it never seemed like he was like, hating on her or trying to do something behind her back. He always seemed very genuine around her. So I was sad to see that. But yeah, y'all leave that man alone. And y'all same women down in the comments talking about how gay he is. It's the same women's that's going to be in his DM. So, next story. Ooh, I don't have a lot of time, guys. I'm going to have to get into my favorite shows. I did want to touch on the Dolce & Gabbana story. They just, all right, I can touch on it real quick. So Dolce & Gabbana debuted their 2000 Spring-Summer 2025 collection during Milan Fashion Week that just passed. And it was dedicated to the icon, the living legend Madonna, who was in the audience front row, of course. But it's facing a lot of backlash because they only focused on one era. Like I said earlier in the show, the Jean-Paul Gaultier Blonde Ambition era, where he made the comb bra, which is the comb bra. Whenever I see a comb bra, I immediately think Jean-Paul Gaultier, Madonna, Blonde Ambition tour. This is touchy because, yeah, I love Dolce & Gabbana, and it hurts my heart to have to do this. But, yeah, you can kind of look at it as a ripoff for those of us older dolls. For those of us who remember Madonna and the comb bra. But there is a set of fashion boys and girls who don't think back that far. To them, this is new. So, on the positive side, I'm looking at it like, I think what fucked it up is they should have said it's an ode to Jean-Paul Gaultier and Madonna. That's where they fucked up at. Because you can't have a comb bra on your runway and say it's, oh, this is an ode to Madonna. But Madonna had so many style errors that you could have picked from. I think that was the problem. I think had they had put Jean Paul Gaultier's name on it, I don't think it would have been an issue. Because I've seen several comb bras over several decades of fashion after Jean Paul Gaultier. But, you know, in the backstage when they're getting interviewed, they're like, oh, I pulled inspiration from Jean Paul Gaultier. And I didn't see any of the interviews backstage with them, but I'm sure they said it because the Jean Paul Gaultier comb bra is so iconic. It's like you can't, and they are so iconic. There's no way that they were that stupid. It's like no way. It's like they knew what they were doing, and I think they meant good. I just think it read wrong, and it kind of fell flat. Excuse me. I love you, Dolce and Gabbana, but yeah. But I loved the collection. I thought it was beautiful. I liked that the comb bra wasn't exactly the same. It was a little different. I didn't mind it. It didn't blow me away, but I didn't mind it. I think next time, just put, for anybody else who's going to document an artist era and that artist era is synonymous with another designer, put the designer's name on it. Just put the designer's name on it. Yeah, I think that was politically correct enough, right? I'm hoping, I'm hoping it was. I'm really hoping it was. Anyway, all right. So, listen, I have 14 minutes left, so let's get it popping. So, my three favorite shows. First of all, before I get into my three favorite shows, I have to send a huge shout out to Tokyo James. I have been a fan for at least 3 or 4 years now. To see somebody that looks like me present their own namesake brand at Milan Fashion Week, it means a lot. Nice people over there. I love the message behind the collection. It came in fourth place. I had a really, really hard time with this. I had a really hard time. But it definitely came in fourth place. Huge congratulations to Tokyo James for doing it again and again and again. It made it fourth place. If you ever see this, please don't hate me because you know I'm a huge fan. But my third favorite show is definitely going to Glenn Martin's for Diesel. The way they revolutionized denim. They've been doing it since I remember you wasn't that bitch if you didn't have a pair of Diesel jeans back in the day. And for them to keep it going and keep it going, because they were just a denim brand at one point in time. Like Levi's to me, as far as I can remember. And now, look at them now, and Glenn Martin's is he's such a strong talent in the fashion game. I'm a huge fan of his. The runway was made up of little strips of denim everywhere that they're going to donate and recycle and repurpose. I love that. I also love the fact that they had a 24-hour camera at the event space days leading up to the debut of the collection that you can go on their website and see. I checked it out. It was really cool. For anybody that's interested in working in fashion, that would be a great thing for you to go and watch. It's linked in on their social media. And you could definitely, I think it's still up still, so you could definitely go check it out. So huge congratulations to Diesel and Glenn Martins. I'm running through this kind of fast. My second favorite show, Faux Puglisi for Roberto Cavalli. Oh my God! It gave me life, honey! Oh my God, I live for this collection. I love those plastic looking, like iridescent plastic watercolored looks. I love the prints. I just loved how all the gowns just flowed. Everything was so minimal and sexy, but the prints were just everything. And then I loved how he closed the show with former house muses Alec Gweck, Joan Smalls, Eve Hergova, just to name a few. And also his ex-wife, former life partner, Eva Cavalli was in the building. She walked the runway with the models at the ends, as well as Fuso Puglisi, you can see here. She was also a long time, she was not only his wife for a very long time, but she was also a long time collaborator in the brand itself. So huge congratulations to Fuso Puglisi. And the whole show was like a fucking party. The music was pumping. I was here in little old town Virginia. Just I thought I was there through the screen, honey. You know, Fuso Puglisi is one of my faves. One of my absolute faves right now. Hands down. Hands down. But my number one, I think you all know who it is. My number one favorite show has to go to Maximilian Davis for Ferragamo. I lived for this collection, and what made me even more in love with the collection is the inspiration behind the collection. He wanted to fuse the history of ballerina style and the history of the House of Ferragamo together. And one of his muses for this collection was the legendary choreographer and dancer and ballerina Catherine Dunham, who was known for incorporating Caribbean movement to ballet. She was one of the first. She was from Chicago. She also did a lot of visiting to Trinidad and Jamaica, which I'm Jamaican. Hi. And Maximilian is also Jamaican and Trinidadian, so it held a special place in his heart. I absolutely loved these pieces. I can't even put it into words. I was just sitting there like this the whole time. You know, I did go to school for fashion. I have been a fan of fashion and watching and reading about it for years. But listen, like I said, we don't know everything about fashion. Nobody knows everything about fashion. But I do know when I see something and I like it, I know how I feel. And this, and then again, to see a black person that looks like me, it's so many emotions. It's like, damn, like I could do it too. You know, you could do it too. Like, it's so inspiring. And he's really, really handsome, by the way. He could model himself. He's so handsome. And he's he looks really tiny. I've never seen him in person, of course. I will one day. I will one day. I will be sitting on the front row of a Ferragamo show one day. But I'll let you know what his real size is then, I guess. But he does look really small in person. But this collection was absolutely stunning. It was my favorite. So huge congratulations to Maximilian Davis. Did we touch on everything today? Oh my God, we touched on everything today in 32 minutes. I'm so sorry, guys. Excuse these little gnats flying around. I have to go get in glam because I have someplace to be. But I love you guys. I will be back for our Paris Fashion Week wrap up and whatever motherfucking bullshit happens between now and then. Anyway, ciao bella. Love you.